check, 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 check.
Feel the power of Bethune-Cookman women's basketball. The Lady Wildcats, led by head coach Janelle Creighton, are fired up and ready to dominate the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Wildcats quickly in transition. Clark double team into the basket, goes with the spin.
Get ready to feel the excitement. It's time to hit the hardwood for today's game. Buckle up, Wildcat fans. It's about to get crazy. Now it's time to turn it over to the voice of the Wildcats, Mike Truello, on the CatEye Radio Network.
Well, live from Moore Gymnasium on the campus of Bethune-Cookman University in beautiful downtown Daytona Beach, Florida. It's time for another edition of Bethune-Cookman women's basketball here on the CatEye Network as the Wildcats start their second homestand of 2025. They get the Alabama schools this week, Alabama State on Saturday afternoon, but tonight it is the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M who are flying high with a 12-7 overall record, best overall record of the SWAC, 5-2 in the conference. They sit third right now behind Texas Southern. and Jackson State. They will play the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Their overall record 6-13. They've started 3-4 in conference play, but they're looking to bounce back after 2 tough losses in Mississippi last weekend against Jackson State and Alcorn State. It's now time for the Southeast Toyota dealers' keys to the game. First, for Alabama A&M, bring their size to bear. They have a significant size advantage over the Wildcats tonight in the paint. The 6'2" Alicia Wilson, 6'1" Courtney Rittenberry, 6'3" Kamaria Gibson, 6'1" Anaya Palmer, 6'4" LaCambria Shakespeare, and 6'5" Mallory Davenport are all bigger than the tallest player the Wildcats have. That's Kayla Clark at 6'3". It'll be tough for the Wildcats inside tonight, especially on offense, where this Alabama A&M Bulldogs defense is #1 in the SWAC in points against per game at 63.1. And for Bethune-Cookman, you gotta start fast. You cannot let Alabama A&M run you out of the building in the opening minutes, like Alcorn State did on Monday night. They scored 4 points in the first quarter, did the Wildcats. They've also scored 5 points in the first quarter twice this season against Virginia and against Bradley, both of those games back in December. But both the men's and women's teams here at BCU have been prone to slow starts, not only in the first half, but also in the third quarter after halftime. If they can clean that up and stay close to this Alabama A&M team, who knows what could happen down the stretch tonight. Now it's time to look at the starting lineups for this evening's game. First, for Alabama A&M, at guard, a 5'6" senior from Houston, Texas, Malin Wilkerson. She's the leader in three-pointers made for this team at 32. A senior guard from Miami, Florida, and Miami Norland High School, Jaya Harris Smith returns to her home state tonight. The player to watch for is senior forward, a 6'2" out of Pomona, California, Alicia Wilson. She leads this team in 7, count 'em, 7 statistical categories: field goals made, total rebounds, turnovers, steals, blocks, and lowest personal fouls per game. She is the do-it-all, and she is right behind Asia Nicholson, who we'll get to in a moment, for Bethune-Cookman. In most double-doubles in the SWAC, she's got 9 on the season. Nicholson has 10. The fourth starter for Alabama A&M is Lauren Pendleton, the senior guard, 5'9", from Little Rock, Arkansas, that transfer from Arkansas State. She's played the most minutes per game of this team this season at 30.2 per game. And the scoring leader for Alabama A&M is their final starter, a senior guard, 5'5", from Alexander, Arkansas, Kayla Walker. She averages 212 total points. That's 14.13 per game. She's also the best free throw shooter in this team at 86%. And she is one of 4 players that Coach Dawn Thornton brought from UAPB to Alabama A&M over the offseason when she became the head coach for AAMU. Now for Bethune-Cookman, starting at guard, a junior 5'7" for Baltimore, Maryland. It's Damani Dorsey, the team leader in three-point percentage at 37.5 and steals with 32 on the season. The first of 2 freshman guards is a 5'9" freshman from Pompano Beach, Florida, Janessa Kelly. She had the dramatic game winner against Pine Bluff the last time the Wildcats were at home. She also leads the team in three-pointers made with 23. The do-it-all 5'10" junior forward from South Euclid, Ohio, Asianae Nicholson, leads this team in points at 12.2 per game. Field goal percentage, 47. Field goals, 93. Free throws made, 46. Minutes per game, 28.4. And leads the SWAC in total rebounds with 201. That's 12 per game. She's averaging a double-double, the only player in SWAC women's basketball currently at that margin. The second of our freshman guards is Jordan Brooks, the 5'3" freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. The all-time leader in points, assists, and steals at Union Grove High School, has had a tough life of it at the college game as a true freshman running the point for BCU. She's averaging 5 points per game. And in the middle, The final starter, the only senior starter for the Wildcats tonight, is the senior center at 6'3" from Miami, Florida, Kayla Clark, the team leader in blocks with 13. She is going to look to provide some stability on the defensive side tonight. Bethune-Cookman in the white, Alabama A&M in the maroon trimmed in white. Gold trim for the Wildcats with gold numbers as we just wait for the officials to deem us ready to start play. Thank you for being with us. My name is Michael Turillo. Happy to have your company. No Sabrina Petit home tonight. She is sick and cannot be with us, but I know she's watching at home. Sabrina, we hope you get better soon, as we still have a stoppage before we begin the proceedings. Brand new coach for Alabama A&M this year, Dawn Thornton, in her first season after spending a couple years at Arkansas Pine Bluff. And she is here because she replaced Margaret Richards, who replaced the departing coach over at Jackson State. So there was a bit of a coaching shuffle in the women's basketball side of things in the SWAC over the offseason. It will be Nicholson for the Wildcats and Alicia Wilson for the Bulldogs for the jump, as soon as we figure out what the holdup is, as Coach Thornton and Coach Janelle Creighton Del Rosario stare each other down. Coach Thornton, a very flamboyant figure on the sidelines. Her nickname is the Diva Coach. We are finally ready for basketball action. Thank you for joining us here on the CatEye Network. A sparse crowd here at Moore Gym tonight on a Thursday. The tip is won by, I believe, Alabama A&M, but no, it'll be Bethune-Cookman ball out of bounds, and the Wildcats will take first possession. And I mentioned that Southeast Toyota dealers key to the game: start fast. You cannot let this get away from you in the first quarter and be chasing that uphill battle all game long. Bryce, Brian, and I spoke about that on the Hail Wildcats radio podcast this week. That episode is now live on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. If you want to listen to us talk about all things B-CU sports, Kayla Clark's initial jumper is off the mark, and the rebound goes off of Nicholson and out. It'll be Bulldog ball. It'll be interesting to see where the Bulldogs go on offense. It'll probably be Alicia Wilson, but also Kayla Walker. The team leader in field goal percentage for Alabama A&M, Anaya Palmer, not starting tonight. She's a sophomore guard. Shoots the ball at 68%. It'll be Harris Smith controlling the rock for Alabama A&M. She's guarded by Jordan Brooks and throws the ball out of bounds. The other thing that could have been the Southeast Toyota dealers' keys to the game for the Wildcats is turnovers. They turn the ball over a lot, and they turned the ball over almost 30 times in the loss to Alcorn State on Monday. Long pass finds Damani Dorsey. She pulls up from mid-range and a little bit too strong on it. I'd like to see Dorsey try and take that to the rim. Lauren Pendleton, the pass to Smith. And in the corner, here's a three. Too strong, no good. Both teams missing on their first two opportunities from the field tonight. Jordan Brooks open for the three, won't take it. They'll go to Clark, who backs down Pendleton. Spins and goes up and under for the finish. And the Wildcats are on the board. 8:45 to go first quarter. That's where the Wildcats need to get a lot of work done. When B-CU beat Arkansas Pine Bluff, not last Thursday, but the Thursday before, the last Thursday home game, Kayla Clark had a double-double, 14 points, 10 rebounds. Here's Alicia Wilson, top player for A&M, splits a double team and can't hit off the rim. Jordan Brooks races ahead in the open floor. She'll find Nicholson, who skips it all the way across to Dorsey, and the Cats will reset. Go back down to Nicholson. Averaging a double-double, Ajane. Three on the way from the wing, too strong. And it's gonna be an offensive foul as a Bulldog clatters to the floor. Kayla Walker taking the brunt of that charge. And Janessa Kelly picks up the foul. She also had that missed three-pointer earlier in the possession for the Wildcats, Kelly. Again, the Wildcats asking their two freshman guards, Janessa Kelly and Jordan Brooks, to do an awful lot this season. Stopping in the lane is Pendleton. Back out to Smith. There's 2-0 here early on as the Bulldogs almost cough it up again. In the corner, Walker for three. Back iron, no. And Jordan Brooks, the smallest player on the floor, grabs the rebound. Brooks listed at just 5'3". Brooks tucks it down to Clark. And Janessa Kelly shovels it to Dorsey in the corner. Her three-pointer is short. Got to follow your shot there because it's an easy rebound for Walker on the other end. Transition triple is short. Alabama A&M 0 for their first 4 from the field. Dorsey left open at the top, doesn't take another three. The Wildcats not a great three-point shooting team. Just 27% overall on the year. Somehow, Clark gains possession of the ball, but double dribbles. And gives the ball back to Alabama A&M. We're going to watch that turnover battle all night. That's the first official turnover on the Wildcats. Alabama A&M has one as well. So this game is starting very much like the Alcorn game started on Monday night, where at the end of the first quarter, the score was 9-4. And only 3 field goals were made between the two teams. Alabama A&M 0 for their first 4 from the floor. 3 of them have been three-pointers. The Wildcats protecting the paint well. That's a long 2, and it's banked home by Lauren Pendleton. Pendleton, the transfer from Arkansas State. Former Sun Belt Freshman of the Year back in 2022. And we are tied up at 2, approaching the 6-minute mark of the first quarter. The Wildcats look like they're going to make their first change as Shamari Phillips gets set to come in. Ajane Nicholson yet to get off the mark tonight. She spins, she drives. Clark with an offensive rebound. Kicks it out to the corner. Brooks an open 3. Just too strong, but Clark taps the rebounder herself. And an offensive foul as Clark pushes over Pendleton. So 2 offensive fouls for the Wildcats early on in this first quarter. That's both of their fouls. 1 on Nicholson and now 1 on Clark. And Janessa Kelly will be replaced by Shamari Phillips for the Wildcats. Phillips, the transfer from Texas Southern, started 9 games for the Tigers last year. Texas Southern flying at the top of the SWAC right now, 7-0 in conference play with a win over Jackson State. Kickball is the call as the Bulldogs almost turn it over again. We'll see another change as Kayla Clark is replaced by Chanel McDonald. McDonald only played in 11 games so far this year. This is her 12th. Missed a good portion of December, working her way back from illness and injury. Here's a drive and a floater off the rim, no good, from Tia Harvey, who's just checked in for the Bulldogs, and the score remains 2 apiece. Jordan Brooks, not a lot of movement in front of her with 5.5 to go in the first. Not a ton of movement here from the offense. They try and go pick and roll to Nicholson. 6 to shoot. Phillips a 3. Too strong. And the Wildcats are 0 for 4 from beyond the arc. The Bulldogs 0 for 3. Harvey in the corner. Back to Smith. Down low it goes. Here's Alicia Wilson. Battling inside and gets a foul called. Probably will go against McDonald, and it will. And this is how you break a slow scoring run. Just get to the line and try and get some easy ones. Alicia Wilson, not the best free throw shooter, 48 of 87 on the season. That's just over 55%. But that's maybe the one flaw in her game, is she is making a standout case for SWAC Player of the Year thus far. Originally from Pomona, California, Wilson started in California for her college career at the Academy of Art. And yes, they do play sports at the Division II level. And then has spent the last couple of years at Alabama A&M. This is the second one. But the rebound is pulled down by Walker. Extra possession for Alabama A&M, and they give it away. We saw the Wildcats calling for a double dribble, but the Bulldogs are going to keep possession here. Not quite sure why, as we go to the opening media timeout of the first quarter. We'll take a short break and be right back. This is Bethune-Cookman Women's Basketball on CatEye Network Radio. Do you love Bethune-Cookman University sports? Of course you do. Then don't miss Hail Wildcats Radio, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of all 15 Wildcat sports programs. Hosted by voice of the Wildcats, Michael Turillo, and featuring the expertise of sports information directors Bryce Wojnowski and Brian Harvey, Hail Wildcats Radio delivers unparalleled coverage of your favorite teams. Tune into 1380 WELE Daytona Beach every Thursday, an hour before the women's basketball game, to catch the show live, or you can listen anytime on your favorite podcast platform. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Anchor, anyone you want. Dial into Hail Wildcats Radio. We're talking all the basketball, track and field, and tennis we've also talked about this week. We got baseball and softball starting next week. No basket, offensive foul, illegal screen. And so both teams stay over from the three-point line after that one was in from Pendleton. And Alicia Wilson is called for the illegal screen. And now we're going to take a look at it. I believe what they're looking for is whether or not the shot went in before the foul was called, since the action of the foul did not directly lead to the shot. So we're going to have our first review of the game. Let's take a look at the SWAC standings going into this Thursday night contest. Texas Southern 7-0 leading the way. Jackson State and Southern are 6-1. And they play each other tonight, so that's something we'll be keeping an eye on as we go on. That game about to start in about 15 minutes. Alabama A&M comes in at 5-2. They're currently fourth in the SWAC, but a win by them tonight and a loss by one of the teams that has to lose, Jackson State or Southern, will propel them up to third or perhaps second. Grambling State at 4-3, then a car crash in the middle at 3-4. Florida A&M, Bethune-Cookman, Alcorn State, and Alabama State all at 3-4. Prairie View at 2-6. Mississippi Valley at 1-7. And Arkansas Pine Bluff at 0-7. Those are only SWAC numbers, not overall. But remember, with 10 teams on each side making the tournament this year, there's less pressure on teams in the regular season. And the Wildcats have already beaten the two teams at the bottom of the standings, Mississippi Valley State and Arkansas Pine Bluff. So if the Wildcats hold serve the rest of the way, they don't have to worry about missing the tournament. Now, it's all about seeding. If you go in as the 10 seed and have to play Jackson State or Southern your first game, it's not going to be a good time. But it puts less pressure on these late season, regular season games to just make the tournament. Of course, the women's team for the Wildcats has missed the tournament the last 2 years. So a high priority on Coach Creighton Del Rosario's squad to get back to the SWAC tournament this year. That tournament, of course, taking place in Atlanta this year, moving from Birmingham, where it has been the last couple of years. And conversely, the SWAC baseball tournament at the end of the school year will be moving to Birmingham at Rickwood Field, where it was in Atlanta for the last 3 years. So basketball and baseball doing a little bit of a flipperoo. Another low-scoring first quarter for the Wildcats. Just 2 points, 4:47 to go in the first quarter. As we take you through some of the individual numbers. Pendleton's got 2 for Alabama A&M. Wilson's got 1 for the charity stripe. Kayla Clark's got 2 with her up and under layup, and that's it. Kayla Clark scored at the 8:49 mark of the first. Since then, the Cats are 0 for their last 4. And it looks like they might count the basket for Alabama A&M, as I heard a big shout of jubilation from over there near their bench area. They do count the basket. It is 6-2. So for the Bulldogs, they take a pretty significant lead now, 6-2, with points at a premium. The Wildcats 1 of 8 from the floor. The Bulldogs now 2 of 7. So that three-pointer from Pendleton was good before the foul occurred underneath on Alicia Wilson. So the Wildcats find themselves down a couple of possessions early on. They break the press, easy enough. Nicholson, easy lay-in, and the Wildcats cut into that lead. That is what the Wildcats need to do. If the opponents are going to bring pressure, which they do often because Bethune-Cookman has struggled against pressure under Coach Creighton Delrosario's tenure. Here's a horn set for the Bulldogs. Walker goes left, throws Pendleton in the corner underneath. Wilson lost the ball. But again, the Wildcats got to run in transition and make those easy buckets count. Underneath, and another easy one, this time for Chanel McDonald. McDonald, a huge season last year after coming over from Warner. Started all 31 games for the Cats and averaged just shy of a double-double, with 9 points and 10 boards. The Wildcats have responded after giving up that 3 to tie the game at 6, and after the media timeout and that pause for review, the scoring has turned up for both teams. Here's Pendleton with a mid-ranger. She knocks it down. You can tell why Lauren Pendleton is the top scorer for this Bulldogs team. She's got a really nice scoring streak. The job for the Wildcats tonight is just stay in touching distance throughout the game. Down low, Nicholson. Brooks launches a 3, just short, and then Nicholson is dragged down from behind. No call. She looks at the referee and Pendleton, mid-range, too strong. Brooks with the rebound, and she gets bumped by Smith. I would have liked to see Nicholson take that herself on that last possession. She had position inside, chose to kick it out. And with this Wildcats team, not a three-point shooting team in the slightest. Just 27% on the season. 10 to shoot here for Shomari Phillips. Brooks now with 5. And a legal screen as Chanel McDonald's feet weren't set. I'm not sure if Brooks was going to get that shot off in time anyway. So 3 fouls for the Wildcats of their 4 early are offensive. And if you're already struggling shooting the ball, 3 offensive fouls in the first quarter isn't going to help. And that's the second foul on Chanel McDonald. She'll sit down as the freshman Maya Johnson comes into the game, which wears number 35. Also Cassandra Hawthorne, the transfer from Hampton, is in to play the 4. So wholesale changes for the Wildcats front court here. Pendleton, ball fake drive into the corner. Bergen a 3, rattles out. 2 Bulldogs there for the rebound. Wilson corrals it. She'll work on the freshman Johnson. And kick it back to Smith. Smith with 10. Spins through a double team and travels with the basketball. The shot was no good either way. Two for Nicholson, 2 for Clark, 2 for McDonald. All the scoring coming from the forwards so far for Bethune-Cookman. As we are under 2 minutes to go in a low-scoring first quarter. This is how both teams like it, though. Hawthorne decides to put it up herself, and she got it to go around the rim and down. As still the scoring for Bethune-Cookman has all come from forwards, and it's 8-8. These are two of the best defensive teams in the conference. As Pendleton drives, puts up a shot too short. It ricochets out of bounds, Wildcat ball. And it looks like the back official is gonna maybe change this call. Nope, it's still Wildcat ball. Cassandra Hawthorne was somebody that I thought would see a lot more minutes for the Wildcats this year. Just 7.5 minutes per game and averaging 2.3 points. She didn't play the first part of the season due to some eligibility issues after transferring from Coppin State, not Hampton, my apologies. Down low it goes, Maya Johnson, the freshman, travels. Maya Johnson is kind of like Kayla Clark. She's got a similar body type, really big, if a little undersized at the center position. A really good high school career at St. Thomas Aquinas. 3-time state champion is Maya Johnson down in South Florida. 1 minute to go here in the first. Smith in the corner. Here comes the screen from LaCambria Shakespeare, and Darian Bergen takes the three and hits it. Bergen shoots the three ball at 23%, but she knocks that one down. The Wildcats try to respond here. Hawthorne, cut off by Shakespeare, lost the ball. And it's picked up by Pendleton with room to run. She'll throw it back to Bergen, who ducks under a defender and scores. And it's a quick 5-0 run to close the quarter for Alabama A&M, 13-8 now. 23 seconds to go in the first. Janessa Kelly with 15 to shoot, shot clock off. Hawthorne, mid-range jumper, bucket and the foul. Nice poise by Cassandra Hawthorne to not only put that shot up and make it, but make it through contact. Kayla Clark is going to check back in for the Wildcats, probably replacing Johnson. And in for Alabama A&M is Anaya Palmer, the team leader in field goal percentage for the Bulldogs. Played at Georgia State last year, the sophomore. And now Cassandra Hawthorne has a chance to bring this game within 2 with a 3-point play with 11 seconds to go in the first quarter. And she missed it. It has been a tough year from the free throw line for this Bethune-Cookman women's basketball team. Just 61% overall. 3 on the way, nowhere close. And that's the end of the first quarter. It's Bethune-Cookman 13. Or sorry, Alabama A&M 13, Bethune-Cookman 10. Bethune-Cookman staying with it, responded to a late Alabama A&M 5-point swing to keep it close at the end of the first. We'll be back after a quick word from your local Southeast Toyota dealers.
At home or on the road, they're never the underdog. Toyota, let's go places. Lease a new 2024 Toyota Tacoma SR5 for $389 a month for 36 months. Offer valid through February 3rd, 2025. Well-qualified lessees with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. $36.88 due at signing. No security deposit with select equipment. $350 disposition fee. Excludes tax tag registration, title, and dealer fees. See dealer for details.
I want to bring back attention to my Southeast Toyota dealers' keys to the game for the Wildcats, which was start fast. I mean, they've done so. It's a really low-scoring first quarter, but that's the way both of these teams like to play. The Wildcats, third in the SWAC in giving up points at just 63 a game, and 63.9, I should say, and Alabama A&M is first at 63.1, so we will probably have a very low-scoring game this evening. We welcome those of you joining us here on the CatEye Network on YouTube. My name is Michael Torillo. Happy to have your company for this Thursday evening contest from Moore Gymnasium. And just how I mentioned that it's a big game for Bethune-Cookman because they don't want to fall into that bottom tier of the SWAC, and going to be fighting for tournament seeding. It's a big game for Alabama A&M as well, because they don't want to fall too far behind the top three, Texas Southern, Jackson State, and Southern, especially with Jackson State and Southern playing each other tonight. That game just about to tip off. Once again, 13-10 here. About to get underway in the second quarter. It'll be Alabama A&M ball. Didn't have a jump ball in that first quarter, so the possession arrow favors the Bulldogs. They're up by 3, 13-10 as we start quarter number 2. Kayla Walker off to Malin Wilkerson, who started the game, but didn't play a ton in that first quarter. Wilkerson and Smith in the corner, bottled up by Jordan Brooks. With 8 to shoot, a long 3 is good by Kayla Walker. Walker, no stranger, to shooting the 3 ball. She's attempted now 73 on the season and hit 27 of them for a 36% rating. Down low, muscling it through for the Wildcats is Maya Johnson. So she is being put in at the 4 right now, or Kayla Clark, excuse me, is playing the 4 with Johnson at the 5. As the Wildcats go to a bigger lineup here to start quarter number 2. But you can't trade 2s for 3s. The last 2 Bama A&M buckets have been 3-pointers. And the lead has grown to 4 points, 16-12. Another 3 is off the mark, rebounded by Camara Langston, who's just checked in. Langston, another one of those who hasn't played a ton this season, participating in only her 7th game. She'll launch a 3. Oh, and just rattle it out. And Alabama A&M keeps it off the out of bounds. Langston has battled a lot of injury. Her first game played this year was on the first true conference road weekend against Southern. But is a body the Wildcats really need for minutes off the bench. Corner 3, corner pocket for Malin Wilkerson. And the Bulldogs have raced out of the gate in this second quarter. It's already 6-2 in the frame. Johnson, the ball thrown beyond her and out of bounds by Kayla Clark. And another turnover for the Wildcats, their 6th already of the night. As the Wildcats now go to a 3-forward lineup with Hawthorne, Clark, and Johnson in, the 2 guards, Dorsey and Brooks. If your opponent's training the 3 ball, like they are, 2 out of 3 in the quarter for Alabama A&M, not sure why you would go to a 3-forward lineup, but it works out as an errant pass gives the ball back to the Wildcats. As I mentioned earlier, not turning the ball over crucial. The Wildcats have turned the ball over 30-plus times, already 3 times in conference play, and almost had 30 last time out against Alcorn. Hard to win when you're doing that. Clark on the baseline, gets her defender in the air, but travels with the ball, and the basket will not count. The stone-faced Janelle Creighton Del Rosario turns away to her bench and replaces Maya Johnson with Asian Nicholson. 2 points, no rebounds so far for Nicholson, the double-double machine, who's got 10 of them on the season. Pendleton, Mitty, good. 8-2 swing at the start of this second quarter for Alabama A&M. As Coach John Thornton's team has figured it out offensively. Wildcats still with that 3-forward lineup in the game. Clark controls out high. Nicholson At the nail, it rotates back around to Brooks, who drives, puts up a floater, and connects. Good set play to space the floor and allow Jordan Brooks to pick her shot from just inside the free throw line. But the Wildcats got to get some stops here defensively. Open three from the corner. No good, rebounded by Hawthorne. Brooks racing up the floor. Dorsey baseline jumper, good! And 4 quick ones for the Cats. You cannot let Alabama A&M just blitz you offensively. Even that missed 3 the last time down the floor by Walker was an open look. Wilkerson, nobody cut off the baseline, and it's an and one as Dorsey reached in from behind. That one's on Jordan Brooks, who went with her defender instead of cutting off the baseline. And it'll be a 3-point play attempt for Alabama A&M. As McDonald, who already has 2 fouls, comes back into the game for Bethune-Cookman. The Wildcats aggressively tried to trap Walker near the midcourt line. And she threw a long 2-handed pass to Wilkerson, who drove, got the bucket, and was fouled from behind by Dorsey, and she completes the 3-point play. And then she'll come out for Tia Harvey, the senior from Texas. And a transfer from Little Rock. She played 4 seasons in the Sun Belt for the Little Rock Trojans. Wide open underneath is Nicholson. The layup is good as the Wildcats run the press break to perfection for the 2nd time tonight. Both teams shooting over 65% from the floor here in this 2nd quarter. Out of bounds off a kick. It'll stay with the Bulldogs. Darian Bergen, who hit that 3-pointer in the 1st quarter, comes in for the Bulldogs. Excuse me. She's got 5. A lot of maroon floating around tonight. Alabama A&M, the darker maroon, the lighter maroon with gold for Bethune-Cookman. Wilson, catch and shoot from the elbow, and that's good. And Alicia Wilson is off the mark with her first field goal of the night. She connected on a free throw in the 1st quarter. Bethune-Cookman is 6 of their last 7 from the floor, but AAMU is 3 of their last 4 as well. That's a great pass down low. Lots of contact. Nicholson, the putback, no. A 3rd chance is kicked out. And a drive from Dorsey is good. Nice drive from Damani Dorsey as the paint was gummed up with Wildcats and Bulldogs. The Wildcats sticking with this 3-forward lineup with really, I think, their 3 best players, McDonald, Nicholson, and Clark, all in the game. Thrown out of bounds, Wildcat ball, and we've reached the 2nd media timeout with the Wildcats trying to hang tough, down by 6. SWAC basketball is here. Don't miss your chance to catch every second of B-CU basketball action at Moore Gym. The Wildcats will host a men's-women's doubleheader this Saturday, February 1st, as they welcome Alabama State for a crucial conference matchup. Student admission is always free. General admission starts at $10. Get your tickets today at bcuathletics.com/tickets. That's bcuathletics.com/tickets. Can't make it to Moore? You can catch all the action live on youtube.com/CatEye Network. And this Saturday is Hoops Homecoming. Come reconnect with friends, alums, and all the Wildcat faithful over some B-CU basketball this Saturday, February 1st, as the Cats host a doubleheader against Alabama State. Featuring tailgating, vendors, a live DJ, food, and more. You won't want to miss this one-of-a-kind event. Get your tickets today at bcuathletics.com/tickets. That's going to be a great event on Saturday. Tailgate, lots of food going to be out there. You'll want to get into the gym early for the women's game and the men's game. The doubleheader will have historic Wildcats making their return, being honored on the court. And of course, a crucial conference doubleheader for both the men's and women's basketball teams. I mean, if you look at the standings right now for the women, They're tied with Alabama State at 3-4. Alabama State right now is in Tallahassee playing the streaking Florida A&M. And FAMU is up 39-26 over Alabama State. Florida A&M, and now their second year under Bridget Gordon, have really come on strong. They got a great team up there, and they started slow in conference play, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Rattlers are right in the thick of things for some of those buys in the tournament come down the end of the season. Here, though, it's Alabama A&M 26, Bethune-Cookman 20. In this second quarter, the Bulldogs are 5 of 7 from the floor, 2 of 4 from 3. And the Wildcats are 5 of 8 from the floor with no threes so far in the game for the Wildcats. They're 0 of 6 from that department in the contest. That's the main reason why they're down by 6, because there are 2 more threes than the Wildcats have hit. Oh, and the ball goes through Nicholson's legs. Another turnover for the Wildcats. Their 8th of the first half. Already 9 Alabama A&M points off turnovers. And a chance to make it more, and this tipped around the floor with 4:20 to go in the first half. Darian Bergen trapped at the free throw line. She'll reset. Walker, strong drive, kick to Bergen in the corner. Too strong, but inside position for the rebound goes Harvey, and the Bulldogs will have another shot at it. Great drive by Walker. She can't finish, but a third attempt is put back up and in by the 6'4" LaCambria Shakespeare. Wherefore art thou basketball in the back of the net for Shakespeare. And it's an 8-point Bulldog lead. Brooks at the nail pulls up, misses short. Didn't have time to set her feet there, Jordan Brooks. The Wildcats in danger of falling out of this one early, down by 8, with Bama A&M looking for more here. Around a double team, Lauren Pendleton. She's the master of that mid-range, but she misses it short. And Ajane Nicholson pulls down the board, her second of the game. Wildcats scoreless over the last 135. And they almost throw the ball away. Jordan Brooks prevents that one from being a backcourt violation. Clark, cross-court skip pass, 3 on the way, good! Damani Dorsey finally gets the Wildcats going from downtown. They're now 1 of 7 from beyond the arc. The other thing the Wildcats need to do is try and drive and get to the free throw line. They're just 0 of 1 from the line on an and-one opportunity. No shooting fouls for Alabama A&M outside that one. They only got to the free throw line 4 times against Jackson State. That's a season low for the Wildcats. Don't want a repeat performance of that. Walker against McDonald, throws it to the corner. Bergen open for 3. Clark out there with the contest, and Ajane Nicholson battles for the board. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Dorsey, after hitting that 3, almost turns it over. Brooks down low, Nicholson step back, money. And here come the Cats. A 5-0 swing, and they're down just 3. As the crowd here at Moore Gym has filled out quite a bit since the beginning of the game to now. It's only the second home Thursday night game of the season here at Moore Gymnasium for women's basketball, but I have been very impressed by the turnout, especially of the students. Bergen against Clark. That should be a guard-favored matchup, but Clark prevents her from getting to the basket. Now here's Shakespeare. Back out Bergen. And a travel. Kayla Clark is doing a terrific job closing out to these 3-point shooters. The last 3 times they've attempted a 3-point shot, Clark has been there and altered the shot significantly. Even though she hasn't gotten a block, they've had to shoot over her, around her. 6'3", big wingspan. As Kayla Clark heads to the bench. A big reason why the Wildcats are on a 5-0 run and have held the Bulldogs scoreless over the last 2:28. After starting 5 of their first 8 from the floor in the second quarter, Alabama A&M now just 6 of 12. Minute to go in the first half. Hawthorne in the corner. And Brooks out high with 60 ticks left. Dorsey looking for the duck in. Brooks takes the long three, short. Long rebound into the corner. Johnson battles for it. It's taken by Shalomi Sanders for Alabama A&M. Shalomi Sanders, of course, the daughter of Deion Sanders, head football coach at Colorado. He was on campus at Alabama A&M last week to watch his daughter play. Wilson shucks that one up at a crowd, no good. 30 seconds left, 2-second difference shot clock to game clock. So the Wildcats could hold for potentially the final shot of the first half here, down 3. And you don't need a 3. I'd rather drive and maybe get an and one opportunity or just get an easy layup. It's going to be in the hands of Jordan Brooks. No screen from Hawthorne that time. Brooks gets it back with 6. Brooks to the nail with 5. No good. Put back Johnson also no. And that's how the first half comes to an end. The Wildcats just 1 for 9 from threes in the first half. But the one they did hit from Damani Dorsey was a big one as they find themselves down just 3 at the break, 28-25. And the Wildcats crucially held Alabama A&M scoreless the last 3:47 of that first half. The Bulldogs went 1 of their last 6 from the field, 1 of their last 5 from 3. I mentioned Kayla Clark doing a fantastic job closing out to shooters. That's not usually her job as the center, but she's doing it well tonight. Once again, your score at the half, Alabama A&M 28, Bethune-Cookman 25. We'll take about a 10-minute break, and then when we come back, we'll run you through all the scoring numbers, the team totals, and we'll take a look around the SWAC at the 3 games that are going on elsewhere in the Southwestern Athletic Conference this evening. Once again, your score at the half, Bethune-Cookman 25, Alabama A&M 28. Don't go anywhere. The second half is coming up next. This is Bethune-Cookman basketball on the CatEye Network. Welcome back to more Gymnasium as we get set to start the second half between the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats and the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. It's currently the Bulldogs 28, the Wildcats 25. Let's get you through your scoring numbers for the first half. First, for Bethune-Cookman, Damani Dorsey leads the team with 7. She's also got the only three-pointer for the Wildcats as they went 1 of 8 from beyond the arc in the first half. Asian Nicholson's got 6 points, 3 boards. Cassandra Hawthorne's got 4. And then Brooks, Clark, McDonald, and Johnson all have 2. There was a while in that first half where all of the Wildcats scoring had come exclusively from their forwards. And for Alabama A&M, Pendleton's got 9. That's a game high. Also 4 assists, a game high as well. Wilkerson's got 6. Bergen 5, Walker 3, Wilson 3, and Shakespeare 2. Top scorer Kayla Walker held to just 3. Second top scorer Alicia Wilson also 3. So the Wildcats have been doing a good job in shutting down the top performers for Alabama A&M, but it might be a worrying trend that they have only 3 points each going into the second half. Let's take a look at some team stats. Bethune-Cookman out-rebounding Alabama A&M 17-15. It's 5-5 on the offensive glass. Second chance points, though, favor the Bulldogs 5-2. Both teams have 9 assists, but the Wildcats have turned the ball over 8 times, leading to 11 points off turnovers for Alabama A&M. That is a number the Wildcats need to clean up if they want to maintain their spot in this game. Alabama A&M's turned the ball over 6 times, but just 4 points from those 6 turnovers for Bethune-Cookman. Points in the paint. Wildcats 16, Alabama A&M 6. The Wildcats have gone down low for most of their scoring, whereas the Bulldogs have shot the ball well from outside. 2 steals for Alabama A&M, 1 for Bethune-Cookman. And I mentioned second chance points, 5-2 favors the Bulldogs. Overall in that first half, Bethune-Cookman was 12 of 26 from the floor. That's 46.2%, 1 of 8 from 3. And for Alabama A&M, they were 40% from the field, 11 of 27, but 4 out of 13 from 3. Neither team went to the free throw line very much. 2 out of 3 for Alabama A&M, just 0 for 1 from the free throw line for Bethune-Cookman. If I'm Bethune-Cookman and I'm Coach Janelle Creighton-Del Rosario, I gotta be telling my team, drive, get to the line, get them in foul trouble, because everybody's just running away scot-free. Only 2 personal fouls on Alabama A&M in that entirety of the first half. Just about to get you set for second half of basketball action. About a minute to go till we tip off. Let's go around this SWAC. In the fourth quarter, it is Florida A&M 61, Alabama State 35. It's all Rattlers up in Tallahassee. That team is on a tear right now, heading up the standings. It is Grambling State 11, Alcorn State 8. They're just underway with 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. And also just underway, the game of the night in the SWAC. Just starting the second quarter over there, Jackson State 16, Southern 11. Those teams are tied for second in the SWAC at 6-1. Well, here at Moore Gymnasium, it is 28-25 Alabama A&M over Bethune-Cookman. Alabama A&M sits 4th in the standings, while the Wildcats sit 7th in that big old 5-way tie at 3-4. Massive standings implications as we're about to hit the halfway point of conference play. After next weekend, we turn for home and hit the back half of the conference schedule. And it's unbelievably already February here. Well, almost already February. February 1st is tomorrow. February 2nd is Saturday. And we're just about to get you set for second half action here at Bethune-Cookman. It'll be the Wildcats in the white trimmed in gold and maroon attacking the basket to listeners' left. And Alabama A&M in the all burgundy with white trim going the other way, attacking the basket to listeners right. Here we go. My name is Michael Torillo, and right away, Lauren Pendleton picks off the ball, goes all the way up, and scores. So not the start that you want to the second half of your Bethune-Cookman, giving up a cheap one. Another point off turnovers for Alabama A&M. They increased that to 13 in the game, to the Wildcats just 4. And yet the Wildcats are still in this one, a low-scoring defensive contest, as I assumed it would be coming in. Both of these teams are in the top 3 in the SWAC in points against per game. Alabama A&M first, Bethune-Cookman third, but a second straight B-CU turnover as Wilson rips the ball away from Janessa Kelly. A chance to really turn the screws here early in the third for the Bulldogs. Walker has that ball batted away, but it comes right back to the corner. Wilkerson left wide open for 3, but she missed it. But Alicia Wilson tracks down the rebound. A third opportunity on this possession for Alabama A&M. And already 3 changes upcoming for the Wildcats, as Coach Creighton Del Rosario does not like how her team has started this second half. Wilkerson drives, floats it up over Nicholson off the glass and in. And a quick 4-0 swing. And it's up to a 7-point lead for the Bulldogs. We mentioned slow starts, not just to the game, but to the second half as well, have killed the Wildcats this season. And it's already rearing its head here in the third quarter. Just 2 minutes gone by in it. Wildcats have yet to score, yet to attempt a shot, because they've got 3 turnovers. 3 turnovers and 3 possessions for the Wildcats as Clark gives it away. And if the Bulldogs score here, what I would anticipate a Coach Creighton timeout, as she's got 4 players sitting at the subs table ready to come in. Wilkerson, 3-pointer short. Boxing out for the rebound is Nicholson. The Wildcats really missing the services of Kayla White right now at the guard spot. And a 4th straight turnover for the Wildcats. From the corner, too strong on the 3 goes Walker. So the Wildcats getting a little bit lucky here. Dorsey, coast to coast. Nobody stopped the ball. And finally, the Wildcats are on the board here in the third. Wildcats need to hunker down defensively on the season. Holding teams to just 63 points a game. Long 3, no good. Nicholson lost the handle though. No whistle anywhere, as there's not been a ton of whistles overall in the game. Just 7 fouls total between both teams. Harris Smith. And stepping on the out-of-bounds line is Malin Wilkerson. And finally, the 3 Wildcats that were sitting at the scorer's table since the second time the Wildcats turned it over in the quarter, about a minute in, finally get to come in. Kelly, Nicholson, Clark, all out for Bethune-Cookman. McDonald, Phillips, and Hawthorne in. Ajane Nicholson not on the floor right now. Let's see how the Wildcats play without her. Dorsey, she's been the best cat offensively tonight with 9 points. Hawthorne has some space for a mid-range jumper, and she knocks it down. Walker races into the front court. Zoom action for Pendleton. Extra pass. Smith doesn't take the 3, guarded by Phillips at the top of the key. Handoff, Harvey. She drives against Hawthorne, floats it up and in. Both teams have loved that little mid-range floater tonight. Brooks all the way down the floor. Phillips doesn't take the 3. Brooks does, though, way off. And a foul is going to go against Alabama A&M for grabbing on the rebound, so the Wildcats will have a second chance at it. The Wildcats now 1 of 9 from the 3-point land. And I would just maybe consider abandoning 3s altogether if you're the Wildcats, just trying to pound the ball inside. Currently down 5 here, as we're 57 ticks of the clock away from reaching the third quarter media timeout. In the corner, Dorsey. No good on the three. Battle for the rebound, won by Shomari Phillips. The Wildcats have a bit of a small lineup on the floor right now. Maybe that's why they're taking so much outside shots. The one big they do have is McDonald, and she gets it to go off the dump pass. Cats back where they started the quarter, down 3. As Alabama A&M has hit just one of their last 4 shots after getting 3 easy ones to begin the quarter. Alicia Wilson has been tied up tonight, almost throws it away. Walker drives right of the lane all the way in, back out for a free throw line jumper. Smith misses it short, but the big body of Wilson grabs the rebound. Back out Smith, shovels it underneath, turned over. Ripped away by the Wildcats' top stealer, Damani Dorsey. McDonald on the baseline, back out Phillips. She drives, floats it up. Oh, off the back iron, no good. She thought she got fouled as well. Walker drives all the way in and is gonna get fouled. As we hit the third quarter media timeout, Damani Dorsey having to be restrained by her teammates as she thought she didn't do anything wrong. But she will pick up the foul, her second personal. The Wildcats have battled back here. And as we get to the media timeout here in the third quarter, the referees have a little bit to sort out. Nike is the official outfitter of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Gear up on the latest B-CU Nike gear at Nike.com/Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. And make sure you are representing Bethune-Cookman University Athletics to the fullest. Buy the latest B-CU gear online at the Bethune-Cookman online store. Go to BCUathletics.com and click on shop to find the newest BCU clothing and apparel. That's BCUathletics.com and click on shop. Well, the Wildcats, who came into the game 10th in the SWAC in three-pointers made, just 57, 3.8 per game, have only hit 1 so far tonight, 1 of 10. Alabama A&M, 4 of 17. This Bulldogs squad had the best non-conference schedule in the SWAC. They went 7-5 in non-conference play with wins over Eastern Michigan, Kansas City, Alabama Huntsville, San Diego, Lindenwood, North Alabama, and Central Arkansas. They were the only SWAC team to go 500 overall or better in non-conference play. And in one of those wins against North Alabama, Alicia Wilson picked up her 1,000th rebound. Wilson, the senior out of Pomona, California, was dominant at the Division II Academy of Arts. Their mascot is the Urban Knights, which is one of my favorites in the country. Averaged 11.9 points and 12.3 rebounds in 2 years out in California at the Academy of Art. Then last year at Alabama A&M, started 22 of 31 games for the Bulldogs, averaged 9 points, 9 rebounds. Alicia Wilson has the Academy of Art record for rebounds in a game with 23 and was a 2-time All-Pac West Player of the Year. As the referees continue to sort out what's going on the floor, it looked to be just a simple reach-in foul by Damani Dorsey. But obviously there's some more going on. As the score currently sits, Alabama A&M 34, Bethune-Cookman 31. Dorsey picked up her second personal foul right before the media timeout. We should be about to go to the free throw line for the Bulldogs for only the third time in the game. They're 2 of 3 so far. Wilkerson converted an and one, and then Wilson went 1 of 2 in the first quarter. The Wildcats have only been to the free throw line once, and that was an and one opportunity for Hawthorne, and she missed it. This Wildcat team has not been good from the free throw line this season. 61% across the team, but some of the individual numbers, especially the bigs. Kayla Clark, 34%. Hawthorne, 50%. McDonald, 64% is the best of them. Nicholson, 54%. And Nicholson, has been to the free throw line the most on the team and still shooting only 54%. And those are the kind of numbers that lose you games. And so we will send Kayla Walker to the line where she shoots it at a team high 86%. She's second in the SWAC, or excuse me, third in the SWAC in that margin, 86.6%. And the first one is good. This Alabama A&M team, for as good a defensive team as they are, first in the SWAC in points against per game, they are last in the SWAC in blocks at only 36 on the entire year. Neither team has collected a block tonight as Wilkerson goes 2 of 2. Janessa Kelly replaces Damani Dorsey for the Wildcats, and Darian Bergen replaces Jaya Harris-Smith for Alabama A&M. Offensively, neither of these teams really move the needle. 64 points per game for Alabama A&M, 61 for Bethune-Cookman. That's both middle of the pack of the SWAC. Trapped in the corner is Phillips, and she turns the ball over. But, the Wildcats got away with one there as Walker traveled immediately. It looked like Walker was shocked to have the ball in her hands as Phillips just threw it right to her. Second lease on life on this possession for the Wildcats. Hawthorne picks up the dribble, and it's a 5-second violation. The Wildcats invent new ways to turn the ball over, it seems like, every game. I remember the game we did on the radio back against Florida A&M, where they turned the ball over 35 times, and every conceivable way you could think to turn the ball over, they did. Throwing it out of bounds, throwing it to the opposition. Double dribbles, travels, 5 seconds, 3 seconds. Backcourt violations, it was a mess. And the Wildcats haven't really cleaned it up now 3 weeks into conference play. Left-hand drive by Harvey, comes up short. Kamara Langston back into the game, grabs the rebound. Jordan Brooks clears out. Kelly in the corner, down low. McDonald bangs into Wilson and finally draws the foul. Kayla Clark jumps up off the bench and cheers for her teammate. This will be the first time the Wildcats have gone to the stripe in a non-and-one position in the ball game. And there's 3:45 to go in the third quarter. But now that you're here, you got to make them, which, as I've stated almost ad nauseum to this point, the Wildcats have not done. Although, if you're going to send a big to the line, Chanel McDonald is statistically the best one the Wildcats have, as she makes the first one, shooting the free throw at 64.5%. Second one good on that line drive free throw action that Chanel McDonald has. McDonald, a two-time All-Sun Conference player at Warner her first 2 college seasons, and then last year at B-CU started all 31 games and averaged 9.5 points and 4.5 rebounds. Wildcats maintaining the fact that they are down by just 3. They went into the half down 3, and with 3.5 to go, offensive foul called against Walker. And crucially, that's Walker's second foul. But to finish my point, they went into the half down 3, and with 3:35 to go in the third, they are still down 3. The biggest lead for Alabama A&M was 9 at 21-12. With 7:21 to go in the second, the Wildcats have kept it within single digits the entire game. Oh my goodness, Jordan Brooks just handed the ball to Pendleton. That is unbelievable. 6 turnovers in the quarter for Bethune-Cookman. Backdoor cut. Floater Kelly short. Rebound Bergen. The Wildcats have just handed the Bulldogs opportunities on a silver platter over and over again. And they're lucky to be down by just 5. They throw the pick and roll, down low it goes, and it'll be Wildcat ball as Wilson couldn't corral it. Wilson not happy with the call. So a turnover back the other way. Wildcats have turned the ball over 16 times in the game. Alabama A&M 11. They got the 2 freshman guards in there right now, Kelly and Brooks, playing at the same time. No shot as Jordan Brooks' screen was blown up by Anaya Palmer, and it'll be a foul on Alabama A&M, their second of the frame. Correction, they're 5th of the frame. I read the wrong column on the scoreboard. So it'll be a 2-shot foul for Jordan Brooks. The freshman out of Atlanta makes the first one. 2-time All-State Team and Player of the Year back at Union Grove High School, Jordan Brooks. She's got the talent. She just needs to adapt to the college game, and it's been really hard for her just being thrown in as the starting point guard, especially replacing someone like Chanel Wilson from last 2 years, who averaged double-figure points throughout her time as a Wildcat. Allen is wide open, dumps it down to Wilson. She's fouled, and will go to the free throw line. That's Nyla Allen, the senior from Jacksonville, Florida, just up the road. Fresh into the game for Alabama A&M. And we'll send Alicia Wilson back to the free throw line. She was 1 of 2, her only other trip there tonight back in the first quarter. But the Cats fluttering between being down 3, down 5, and down 8. They've kind of bounced back and forth between all of them. Wilson gets the first one to go. Alicia, a 2-time league champion at Bonita High School back in Pomona, California, shoots the free throw at 55%. But she gets both of them that time. And the lead is back to 5 for Alabama A&M, just kind of holding the Wildcats at arm's length right now. Extra pass is 1 pass too many as Phillips tried to get it to McDonald. And a double dribble gives the ball back to the Cats. This is burgeoning on the uncanny. Turnovers beget turnovers. Every time the Wildcats throw the ball away, a lapse in judgment by Alabama A&M gives it right back to them. Again, the Wildcats lucky to be down just 5 as they've turned the ball over 7 times in this first or third quarter. Kelly wide open for 3 off the inbounds pass. Oh my goodness, just rattles out. The Wildcats can't buy a 3 from tonight, 1 of 11. All the way in, lost the ball, goes Allen. Wildcats have an odd man rush if they hurry. They do. Langston. Offensive foul called against Maya Johnson for holding Alicia Wilson. And Coach Creighton Del Rosario is incensed with that call. As the Wildcats' time without Kayla Walker on the floor is over. She comes back in as well as Wilkerson, and Coach Creighton Del Rosario is still giving it to the referee as he goes back down the floor. Bulldogs up 5, looking to make it more with 1:50 to go in the third. Bergen dances through a couple of defenders and then throws the ball away. These players need to get football stickum gloves so they can hold on to the ball. Ajane Nicholson back in for the Cats. Johnson trying to get position down low. Nicholson just says, I'm gonna do it myself, and well, she should. She's up to 8 tonight with 4 rebounds. Down low, big contact and one. Gonna come for Kayla Walker as for the second time tonight, Jordan Brooks is really late at rotating over onto that backdoor cut, and it leads to an and one opportunity. Happened once in the second quarter and now once in the third. Wildcats have struggled to get stops the last couple of minutes. Five of 11 in the quarter from the floor are Alabama A&M. The Wildcats 4 of 9. Neither team has hit a three in this third frame. The and one is converted by Walker. And it's a 6-point gap. Jordan Brooks calls a play and throws the ball out of bounds. 8th turnover of the quarter for Bethune-Cookman. Incredible. And they've all been on bad passes. A&M up 6. Their largest lead of the game is 9. Pendleton kick out. It's trying to be 9 again, and Bergen makes it so. (46-37). This third quarter, the last couple of minutes, has been all Bulldogs. Jordan Brooks trying to make something happen. She this is back to McDonald. Drives against Wilson all the way in. Doesn't get the roll. And it will be Alabama A&M ball as they call a foul on Ajahnay Nicholson. 6-0 run for the Bulldogs. And no offense in sight for the Wildcats, who have turned the ball over, as I may remind you, 8 times in this quarter alone and 19 times in the game. Turnovers have killed them all season long. And now Alabama A&M is in the bonus, so Walker goes to the line where she is close to 90% on the year. Walker started her college career at Arkansas Baptist in the NCAA. And in the last 3 years under Coach Thornton at Arkansas Pine Bluff, 53 starts, 8.5 points, 2 1/3 rebounds, 2 1/3 assists. Her numbers from her 3 years at Pine Bluff. And for the first time tonight, the lead is double digits for Alabama A&M, 48-37. 20 seconds to go in the third. 8-0 run for Alabama A&M, and a 10-2 run over the last 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Brooks with 8. Brooks with 6. Brooks drives, kicks, 3 from Kelly, short. The Wildcats are 1 for 12 from the three-point line tonight and trail by 11 going into the break. They lose that quarter 20-12, most of it on a 10-2 run over the last 3 minutes as the Wildcats couldn't get a stop and couldn't buy a bucket. They turned the ball over 8 times in the frame. We're going to head to the fourth quarter. We'll be back after this quick word from your Southeast Toyota dealers.
At home or on the road, they're never the underdog. Toyota, let's go places. Lease a new 2024 Toyota Tacoma SR5 for $389 a month for 36 months. Offer valid through February 3rd, 2025. Well-qualified lessees with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. $36.88 due at signing. No security deposit with select equipment. $350 disposition fee. Excludes tax tag registration, title, and dealer fees. See dealer for details.
Stay up to date with everything Bethune-Cookman Athletics by checking out the Wildcats on social media. Give B-CU Athletics a like on Facebook and follow the Wildcats on X and Instagram at B-CU_Athletics. For the latest on B-CU women's basketball, follow at B-CU WBB on X and Instagram. Come be a part of B-CU Athletics and support the CatEye Network. If you or your business is interested in partnering with us here on the CatEye Network, you can reach out to the Wildcats Athletic Communications Department at bcusportsinfo@cookman.edu. That's bcusportsinfo@cookman.edu. Baseball and softball are coming up. Softball starts next week. Baseball the 14th. Lots of diamond action coming at you this spring here on the CatEye Network. And of course, the second half of conference play and all the way through the basketball conference tournaments as well for Bethune-Cookman. We'll be here to bring you all of it. I do want to give a quick shout out to two of our CatEye Network students here at Bethune-Cookman, Lee Gilliam and Kennedy Hutcherson, who were at the Pro Bowl today, completing an internship with NBCU over at the Pro Bowl, so congratulations to those two. Lee, normally our producer, he raced back here and is running cameras for us tonight. Producing for us today is Raphael and the rest of our student crew here at the CatEye Network. The Wildcats head into the third, down their largest margin of the night, down 11, 48-37, as Alabama A&M closed that third quarter on a 10-2 run, covering the last two, 37. B-CU was scoreless the last 136 and have hit one of their last 5 from the floor. Fourth quarter on tap from Moore Gym. Wildcats trying to stay in it with a Alabama A&M team that has dreams of conference title in March, 2 months from now. Flashing through is Walker. She's got 10. Pendleton's got 13. Nobody on Bethune-Cookman in double figures right now. Off the side of the backboard, grabbed by Agenais. Running the floor is Brooks. She throws it off of, I thought she threw it off of Wilson and out of bounds. It looked from my angle like it took a deflection. The referee says otherwise, and it's the 20th turnover of the game for Bethune-Cookman. And you can kind of see that the game is still going 1,000 miles an hour for the freshman, Jordan Brooks. She chose to try and dump that off in transition 2-on-1 instead of trying to get to the bucket. She is the shortest player on the floor, just 5'3". She is playing dogged defense right now against the senior Kayla Walker. Kick out, corner three, good. Wilkerson hits her second three of the night. The 6th overall for Alabama A&M. And an offensive foul for Bethune-Cookman, another turnover. It's going to go on Kayla Clark. And this is approaching blowout territory now at 51-37. A 11-0 run across the quarter break for Alabama A&M. And if you're Coach Don Thornton, you want to put this team away right now. You don't want to let Bethune-Cookman hang around. Scrappy team plays good defense. Who knows what's going to happen down the stretch as the Wildcats trap and force Alabama A&M to take a timeout. Let's look around the SWAC. 3 games going on this Thursday evening. It's over in Tallahassee as the Florida A&M Rattlers double up on the Alabama State Hornets, 80-43. What a performance from Florida A&M as they shoot 31% from 3 and 48% from the floor to dominate the Hornets. We'll see the Hornets here on Saturday. It's a close one in Grambling, Louisiana. The Grambling State Tigers 39, the Alcorn State Braves 35. That game is approaching halftime, 1:45 to go in the second quarter. Grambling State has not had a great start to this conference schedule. They sit tied at 3-4 with that all car crash in the middle of the standings. And the big one tonight, the two teams tied for second, Southern and Jackson State, meeting tonight in Baton Rouge. Southern leads Jackson at the break 30-25. Jackson State already dropped a conference game to the unbeaten Texas Southern. And if they drop to Southern, it would give the Jaguars a big inside track to clinch that second seed or potentially the first seed if Texas Southern falters down the stretch. And Southern, has had a really great start to the season in both men's basketball and women's basketball. Their men's team is 7-0 right now. And their women are 6-1, and if results hold as they are at the moment, will be 7-1. After the timeout called by Alabama A&M, they've got a 51-37 lead and are back on offense as well. Bergen blocked by Nicholson. First time either team has registered a block in this contest. But really where the Wildcats have struggled is on the offensive end. They can't buy a bucket right now. One of their last 5. And oftentimes they're throwing the ball over so often they can't even get a shot off. Nicholson misses. Clark, offensive rebound. Against Wilson, put back no. Nicholson, a third chance, and she is fouled. 3 players it could have been on. It's going to be on Walker. Correction, Pendleton picks up the foul and sends Asia Nicholson to the free throw line, where she is a 54% shooter, but she's taken the most free throws of anybody on this team, 84 coming into tonight. And this is her first trip to the charity stripe. And it's no good. The Wildcats now just 4 of 6 from the free throw line. Neither team has gotten to the line a ton. Alabama A&M 6 of 19. Nicholson 0 for 2. And it has come back to bite the Wildcats again, their poor free throw shooting. 23 points off of 22 Wildcat turnovers for Alabama A&M so far, and there's still 8 minutes left. But this time, Alabama A&M gives it away. Dorsey rips it away. And then Dorsey with a 3 on the other end. Off the front of the rim, no good. Wilkerson the long rebound. She'll race ahead with it. She's got Wilson running with her. Wilkerson takes it all the way, misses. Wilson, offensive rebound, and she's hooked by Kayla Clark. They're going to give the foul to Dorsey, and that's her 4th. Lots of foul trouble for the Wildcats. 4 on Dorsey, 3 on Nicholson, 3 on McDonald, 2 on Clark and Johnson. So all the forwards piling up the fouls and sending Wilson to the line. The Wildcats have not scored a bucket in almost 4 minutes, and this lead has ballooned to 51-37, where at one point it was 40-37. For a long time, the Wildcats stayed in it, just did enough to keep the Bulldogs in sight. The lead bounced between 3, 5, and 8 a couple times. It was at its largest at 9 late in the first half, but the Wildcats only trail by 3 at the break, but find themselves now down 15. And a long way back with 7 minutes left. Especially with the Bulldogs playing really good defense, the Wildcats still turning the ball over. Chanel McDonald, face guarded by Wilson. Clark, 2 dribbles, puts it up. Bucket and the foul as it hung on the rim and finally fell. The first points for the Wildcats in 3 minutes and 48 seconds. And if not a comeback win, maybe that inspires a little bit of a comeback at all. As they saw the Bulldogs race away at the end of that third quarter and win it 20-12. Wildcats only made 4 field goals in the quarter. Nicholson, offensive rebound and then blocked by Wilson. Walker will slow it down, and if you're Alabama A&M, I'd play this really slow. They try to run the pick and roll, and the Wildcats pick it off. Long pass, only finds the athletic trainer. Another turnover for the Wildcats, and specifically Jordan Brooks, who's turned the ball over 7 times tonight. All of them on passes like that. And she gets a tap on the shoulder from Chanel McDonald, saying it's okay, keep fighting. Issue with the shot clock, it'll reset and Alabama A&M will start this possession over again. Alabama A&M is going to have to pick themselves back up and continue their momentum as they go to a red-hot FAMU team on Saturday afternoon. FAMU smashed Alabama State tonight, 80-43. Pendleton, not been her best offensive night, but she's going to go to the line as they will get Clark for her third foul. Correction, they'll get that on McDonald, her third. Maya Johnson checks back in. It's been a poor night shooting the ball for the Wildcats. Nobody above 10 points. Dorsey's got 9, Nicholson 8, McDonald and Hawthorne 6, Brooks and Clark 4, Johnson 2. Kelly hasn't scored, Langston hasn't scored, Phillips hasn't scored. They've all attempted a shot, and they've all attempted at least 1 3, where the Wildcats are 1 for 12 from beyond the arc tonight. Pendleton good on the second one. And the lead is a game-high 16. Maya Johnson lost it out of bounds, but it was last touched by Alicia Wilson. That was Chanel McDonald's 4th foul that she just picked up. So now Dorsey's got 4, and McDonald's got 4, and Nicholson's got 3. So on top of everything else, the foul trouble piling up for the Wildcats. Asia Nicholson, who hasn't had nearly the impact she would like to tonight, she's going to get fouled and go to the line as she drives against Darian Bergen. Nicholson, 8 points, 8 rebounds. I mean, she's sniffing double-double territory. If she makes both of these, which is a big if, she missed both her first trip to the line in this third quarter. And she missed the first one, so she won't be getting to 10 points this time. But I wouldn't put it past her to sneak 2 more boards and 2 more points in the last 6.5 minutes, unless she picks up her 4th foul and gets taken out. Not the second one. The Wildcats just barely over 50% from the charity stripe tonight. Haven't been there a ton. And the lead is 15. Maya Johnson almost picks up the steal, but loses it into the Alabama A&M bench. Right in front of Coach Dawn Thornton, the Bulldogs work. And Jordan Brooks is down on the floor. 5-on-4 for A&M, and it's an easy bucket for Darian Bergen. Brooks gets back up and continues playing as Damani Dorsey gets set to check back in. She will be playing with 4 fouls when she eventually gets into the ball game. Johnson, 1 dribble, drives, hard off the glass, no good. Nicholson puts it back up, no good. Clark a 3rd chance, and the Wildcats have had not enough of that tonight. Buzzing around the rim, grabbing rebounds. They have out-rebounded Alabama A&M tonight, but they haven't done enough of getting the ball inside and just pounding it off the glass. And again, Alabama A&M's going to take all the air out the ball they can and just drain the clock. Timeout, Coach Thornton, who has not had a lot to be a diva about in this second half, as we hit the media timeout here in the 4th quarter. There is no BC without you. Show your support for Bethune-Cookman Athletics by joining the Wildcat Champions Club today. Help us build a championship culture here at Bethune-Cookman. You can donate and join at bcuathletics.com/championsclub. That's bcuathletics.com/championsclub. And support the Wildcats like never before. Bethune-Cookman Athletics has partnered with Influxer to bring you officially licensed, co-branded NIL merchandise featuring your favorite players' names and numbers. Proceeds from each purchase directly supports Wildcat student athletes. Show your support for your favorite Wildcats today at bcuathletics.com/NIL merch. Bethune-Cookman University Athletics is proud to announce the Hail Maroon and Gold Collective, a groundbreaking partnership with Student Athlete NIL, a leading name, image, and likeness management platform. Through Hail Maroon and Gold, the most passionate Wildcat fans and businesses can engage with Bethune-Cookman University Athletics and its student athletes like never before and ensure our winning ways continue at Bethune-Cookman University for years to come. Learn more today at bcuathletics.com/NIL. It's been all Alabama A&M really since the 5-minute mark of the third quarter. Outscored the Wildcats 20-12 in the third and now 9-5 here in the fourth. But there was a big stretch where the Wildcats went scoreless from the floor of about 4 minutes. The Bulldogs will have 12 to shoot after this inbounds play, as the Wildcats still have nobody with double-digit scoring. Dorsey and Nicholson both have 9. And Dorsey's still on the bench with 4 fouls. Walker being chased. Walker losing the ball, but is fouled right at the midcourt stripe, to the groans of this Moore Gym crowd. 4th personal on the Wildcats in the quarter. And they'll give it a shot clock reset and 30 more seconds to work back to the Bulldogs. I mentioned Alabama A&M has Florida A&M up on Saturday. Coming up after that, they'll do the Louisiana road swing. Alabama A&M is home next weekend, February 6th and 8th against Grambling and Southern. That Southern game should be very interesting. That'll be a top 4 clash in the SWAC, huge for seeding. The Wildcats look set to drop to 3-5 in the SWAC. Wildcats almost force a turnover, but wide open is Bergen. She doesn't take the 3, gets her mid-range altered by Shomari Phillips, and then out of bounds. Nope, a foul is going to be called on the Wildcats, on Maya Johnson, and that'll be her 3rd. So the 2 players with 4 fouls for the Wildcats come back in, Damani Dorsey and Chanel McDonald. First one is good from Pendleton. She's quietly had a really good night, Lauren Pendleton. 15 points on 6 of 9 from the floor, and now 4 of 4 from the free throw line. 6 assists, that's a game high, and 3 steals. And I feel I haven't mentioned her name at all. Clark, skip pass. Phillips in the corner. Triple team, lost the ball, throws it out of bounds. Straight to her coach, Coach Creighton Del Rosario, who has seen her team turn the ball over now 24 times in the game, most of them in the second half. They had 8 turnovers in the third quarter. As Damani Dorsey's already coming out, she played 1 possession. And she's replaced by Shomari Phillips, who is one of the 3 Wildcats who've played tonight, who have yet to score. "17 points the lead for Alabama A&M, their largest of the night. Walker throws the ball in the backcourt, and it's going to be a turnover for Alabama A&M. Oh, my goodness. The Wildcats touch the ball. Why on earth would Shomari Phillips do that? If you don't touch it, it's a backcourt violation either way, or the ball rolls out of bounds and you get it. The only way you don't get the ball there is if you do exactly what Shomari Phillips just did. The Wildcats all over the place in this second half. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Wilson takes a 3, almost hits it, and then she crashes in for her own rebound. The whistle goes. Who knows which way this is going to go? as Alicia Wilson has stayed down right in front of the cheerleaders on that right-hand side of the floor as the Wildcats go to the bench. Well, I'll tell you what, Alicia Wilson plays hard. She could have easily let that three go and run back down the floor, play some defense, but she decided to crash really hard on the boards, get her own miss, fell out of bounds with it, and I think got fouled. We shall see. I did not see the referee down there or what the call was. They put 30 seconds back on the clock. It'll be Bethune-Cookman ball. The Wildcats have had long scoreless streaks in this second half. Went 4 minutes without a point late in that third that allowed Alabama A&M to run away with it. And now burgeoning on 2 minutes without a point. And are just 2 of 8 from the field in this fourth quarter. For the game, 40%, 18 of 44, but a lot of that was in the first half. The Wildcats have only hit 6 field goals in the entirety of the second half and have only hit 1 three-pointer tonight. Lots of contact, no call as Dorsey lost out to Walker. And this is a game that felt like the Wildcats were in for a long time. They were down by 3 at the break. They were down by 3 at the 3-minute mark of the third as Ajahnay Nicholson steals the ball away, goes coast to coast, gets the layup, and she's got another double-double, her 11th of the season. And another bright spot for the Wildcats being Ajahnay Nicholson double-double. She is top 10 in the country in double-doubles. And a pushing foul going to be called against the Wildcats on Jordan Brooks, which will send Alabama A&M to the line as the Wildcats are now in the bonus. 3:16 to go in this one. Alabama A&M will win their 4th game in the last 5. Their only loss to a red-hot Texas Southern team that is undefeated in SWAC play right now. Otherwise wins against Alcorn, Alabama State, and Prairie View. Coming into this matchup with Bethune-Cookman that they will eventually win handily as Smith misses a free throw. Smith's played 22 minutes tonight, doesn't have a point, and has only taken 1 field goal. Bit of an aberration for Jayla Harris-Smith. That time she does get 1. Dorsey in the corner. Back to Brooks. Hawthorne, baseline drive, lost the ball again. Turnover number 26 for the Wildcats. Wildcats try and trap, but Wilson's wide open underneath. Big mismatch against Brooks. She just bodies her out of the way, gets her own miss, and gets fouled. Correction, Harvey grabbed the miss and will go to the free throw line. And Cassandra Hawthorne picks up the foul for the Wildcats, her first of the night. The Wildcats have committed 20 personal fouls in the game to just 11 for Alabama A&M. The physicality has not been there for the Wildcats tonight. The big turning point in the game was at the 3:35 mark of the third quarter, when the Wildcats were down just 3, 36-33. Since then, it has been a 24-12 run for Alabama A&M. They closed the third quarter on a 12-5 run and have not looked back. In this fourth quarter, the Wildcats have just 7 points and have hit just 7 field goals in the second half. Dorsey trying to make her mark. The Wildcats 1 of 13 from 3 tonight. Dorsey's got the only one they have hit. It was late in the first half. The Wildcats looking to avoid being held under 50 for the second time in 3 games. Only scored 47 against Jackson State over the weekend. Kayla Clark picks up the block. It'll go out of bounds, stay with the Bulldogs. Nope, correction, they'll change the call and give it to the Wildcats. All credit to Alabama A&M defensively. They came in best in the SWAC in points per game at 63.1. Or points per game against, I should say. And they're going to lower that average by a fair amount tonight. Jordan Brooks lost the handle. Tough night for the freshman Jordan Brooks as she commits her 8th turnover. Just 4 points for Jordan. And 4 assists. That's a team high for the Wildcats, as they only have 12 assists as a team. Now, AAMU only has 13, but a lot of the Bulldog points have been handed to them. Credit to the crowd. A majority of them have stayed till the end of this one on this Thursday night. 1:50 to go in the contest. And a foul going to be whistled against Jordan Brooks for a hand check. That's Brooks' 3rd. And will send the Bulldogs back to the line. The Bulldogs have led by as many as 17 tonight. The only Wildcat lead in the entire game was 2-0 at the 6:49 mark of the first quarter. Other than that, it's been all Alabama A&M. The Wildcats stayed with them for a while, trailed by 3 at halftime, trailed by 3 with 3.5 to go in the third. Since then, it's been all Bulldogs. Adrienne Nicholson once again has been the only bright spot for the Wildcats tonight, as she's going to be fouled and go to the line. She's only 1 of 4 from the stripe. She's got her, Nicholson has her 11th double-double of the season. 11 points, 11 boards. Dorsey's got 9, but has had to be out for most of the run-in in this game with 4 fouls. Dorsey's also hit the only 3 for the Wildcats tonight back late in the second quarter. That free throw ends a B-CU scoreless streak of 2 minutes. Nobody else with more than 6 for the Wildcats tonight. Offense hard to come by. The Wildcats will keep the ball after a long deliberation by the referee on the baseline. And the bench is empty for Alabama A&M. LaCambria Shakespeare comes back in. She's only averaging 5 minutes a game on the season. Chanel McDonald is going to be fouled, pushed off on by Harvey. And I think that's Harvey's 5th foul. It is. So Harvey departs. She has 2 points, just 1 field goal on 1 of 3 shooting. The only Bulldog with more than 2 fouls tonight. And Chanel McDonald goes back to the line. The Wildcats, 6 of 12 from the charity stripe tonight. Alabama A&M, 17 of 22. And in this game, it's not particularly relevant given the score. But in closer games like the Wildcats had the last time they were at home against Arkansas Pine Bluff, those 50% free throw shooting nights or worse for the Cats will really hurt you. Oh, it's a wedgie off the free throw. I don't think I've ever seen that. Not a layup, not a jump shot, A wedgie off of a free throw. Well, now I've seen it all. That's a complete lie. You've never seen it all. You see something new every time you put on a headset in this business, but that's a new one for me. 1:30 to go in this one. McDonald, oh my goodness, misses a wide open layup, and that just kind of sums up how the last quarter and a half has gone for Bethune-Cookman. Pendleton, the game's top scorer with 17. Trapped in front of her own bench, and a timeout called by Coach Thornton. And a technical foul, I believe, has been called against Jordan Brooks. Yep, technical foul has been called against Jordan Brooks. Oh, Kayla Clark's gonna get it. My apologies. I thought Brooks was the one talking, but it's Kayla Clark. That'll be Clark's third. And we'll give Alabama A&M free throws out of this timeout. Alabama A&M will improve to 13-7 overall, 5-3 in the SWAC. The Wildcats will drop to 6-14, and it'll be 3-5 in the SWAC. I mentioned at the top of the broadcast that there's not as much pressure on making the SWAC tournament as there was in previous years. This Wildcats team has missed the last 2 SWAC tournaments when only 8 teams made it. Now 10 teams make it on both the men's and women's side, and the Wildcats have already beaten the 2 teams at the bottom of the standings, Mississippi Valley State and Arkansas Pine Bluff. And assuming neither of those 2 teams win this weekend, which they both had very tough matchups, they still have a 2-game cushion to the bottom 2, but it's not a position you want to find yourself in, because if you get that 10 seed and you're playing Jackson State or Southern or Alabama A&M in the first round, it might be a quick trip to Atlanta for the SWAC tournament come the middle of March. Kayla Walker to attempt the technical free throws. And she is still perfect from the line tonight, now 6 of 6. A terrific free throw shooter, Kayla Walker. 3rd in the SWAC in free throw percentage at 86.6. One thing we haven't really seen at all tonight is Wilkerson shoot the 3. As LaCambria Shakespeare comes out. Gets a lot of love from the bench. That inbounds pass goes all the way back, and a good burst of speed from Smith to get past Brooks. Mallory Davenport, the tallest player on either team, is in the game. She's 6'5" from Troy, Alabama, started her collegiate career at Rutgers. Walker, long 3, good. And the lead is 20. The Wildcats were in this game for a long time, but ever since the 3:35 mark of the 3rd, it's been all Alabama A&M. And it's 18-9 in this 4th quarter as Damani Dorsey draws a foul. She'll get to the line. A chance to be the only other Wildcat in double figures other than Asia Nicholson. And she comes into these free throw attempts with 9 points. All in the first half, Dorsey, as she sat most of the second half with 4 fouls. Still has played 30 minutes tonight, above her season average of 27. .32 seconds left. You'd think Alabama A&M will just dribble it out here. The 6'6" Alyssa Williams is in the game, the freshman from Corona, California. Also a volleyball player. Also plays on the Alabama A&M volleyball team, so has played in this gym for Bulldog Volleyball back in the fall. Dual sport athlete. 1 second difference, shot clock to game clock. Ajahnay Nicholson takes a steal. I don't think there's a way she gives this up unless she straight loses the ball. And a missed shot, another rebound for Ajahnay, and she is fouled. But Alyssa Williams, a rare breed of two-sport athletes in the current NCAA landscape, especially at Division I. She's only played 1 minute so far this season against Mississippi Valley State. She's in for her second appearance of the year. Really basketball family for Alyssa Williams. Her brother Devin plays basketball at UCLA. Her father played basketball at Buffalo. As Ajahnay Nicholson pads her numbers a little bit at the line. She's now got 12 and 12. And Williams, the center of the future for this Alabama A&M team. But the Alabama A&M team of the present is pretty darn good as they dominate the last quarter and a half here at Moore Gymnasium and roll Bethune-Cookman 66-49. I like talking about the only stats you need to know. The only stat you need to know from tonight's ball game is that from the 3:45 mark of the third quarter, where it was Alabama A&M 36, Bethune-Cookman 33, Alabama A&M outscored Bethune-Cookman 30-17. The Wildcats overall had just 7 field goals in the second half. They scored 12 points in each of the last 2 quarters in which the Bulldogs scored 20 in the third and 18 in the fourth, and win this one 66-49. Here are your final scoring totals. First for Bethune-Cookman. Nicholson, her 11th double-double of the season. A really good night for her. 13 points, 12 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks. She did everything for the Wildcats tonight. Unfortunately, nobody else really picked it up on the offensive end. Damani Dorsey was good, 11 points, 4 of 9 from the floor, 1 of 5 from 3. She hit the only 3 for the Wildcats tonight as they went 1 of 13 from beyond the arc. McDonald had 7, Clark had 6, Hawthorne had 6, Brooks had 4, Johnson had 2, Kelly, Langston, and Phillips played but did not score. For Alabama A&M, Lauren Pendleton, I mentioned, had a quiet, really good night. 17 points for Pendleton, which matches her season high. Walker had 15, Wilkerson had 11, Bergen had 10. Those are the 4 players in double figures for Bethune-Cookman, or for Alabama A&M, excuse me. Wilson had 7, Harris Smith had 2, Harvey had 2, Shakespeare had 2. Wilson led the Bulldogs with 6 rebounds. Pendleton also had 6 assists and 4 steals. Alabama A&M shot 40% from the field, 20 of 49, 7 of 20 from deep, and 19 of 24 from the free throw line. Bethune-Cookman 19 of 48 from the floor. That's just 39%. 1 of 13 from 3, 10 of 18 from the free throw line. Team stats look like this. Bethune-Cookman actually got the edge in rebounds tonight, 34-31 and 13-11 on the offensive glass. Those 13 rebounds led to 8 second chance points for the Wildcats, 11 second chance points for the Bulldogs on only 11 offensive rebounds. 13 assists for Alabama A&M to 12 for Bethune-Cookman. The Wildcats turned the ball over 27 times, crucially 8 in that third quarter where the game slipped away from them. Off those 27 turnovers, Alabama A&M got 26 points off turnovers. The Bulldogs also turned the ball over 20 times, but the Wildcats can only muster 13 points off of those turnovers. Points in the paint, 28-16 in favor of Bethune-Cookman. Really, they didn't do enough of getting points in the paint tonight. They didn't do enough of trying to get the ball to their bigs in the offensive sets. Too many threes, too many jumpers, not enough ball rotation. The Wildcats only managed 12 assists on the night. Fast break points, because the Wildcats turned the ball over so much. Alabama A&M took 10 fast break points. The Wildcats just 4. Only 11 steals off the 27 Wildcat turnovers. That tells me that the Wildcats are turning the ball over with throwing the ball out of bounds, traveling, double dribbling, backcourt violations, although we didn't see any of those tonight, but just self-inflicted errors for the Maroon and Gold to turn the ball over. The Wildcats did take 7 steals from Alabama A&M tonight. The Wildcats had 22 personal fouls. They had 2 with 4 and 4 with 3 for the Wildcats. Nobody did foul out. The only player that fouled out was Harvey for Alabama A&M, who had 5 fouls, just 2 points in 20 minutes. Once again, your final score, Bethune-Cookman 49, Alabama A&M 66. For the second time in 3 games, the Wildcats held under 50 points. They were held to 47 against Jackson State and also lost by around 20 points in that one. They got to pick themselves up quick. Saturday comes fast, a very winnable game against Alabama State. Let's take a look around the SWAC. FAMU blitzed Alabama State 82-46, the official final. It's in the fourth quarter, and Southern has pulled away from Jackson State 51-39 in Baton Rouge, and Grambling State has pulled away from Alcorn 61-45 in Grambling. So the Wildcats, the only home team to lose tonight, although they were matched up against an Alabama A&M team that has their sights set on a conference title. Once again, your final score, Alabama A&M 66, Bethune-Cookman 49. For producer Raphael and our entire student crew here at Moore Gymnasium for the CatEye Network, my name is Michael Torello. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on Saturday for our Hoops Homecoming doubleheader. Have a good night.